Hello, guys, and welcome to this week's show. So, today we have some really special guests that I've been looking forward to, and this is kind of a really big collaboration for me. And we have as our guest today on the show Muskan Khedia. She has been a Microsoft intern last year, and she is also associated with Google Summer of Code this year in MIFO's initiative. So, like, this podcast is going to be really, really knowledgeable. You will get to learn everything about how to land internships, how to land jobs, how to learn skills, how to make amazing projects for your resume, and how to like crack GSOC. What will be the approach? How you should solve issues and make your presence in the GSOC project community. So, well, I hope you guys will see the video till the end and learn a lot. So, see you guys there.
Okay, so Muskan, first of all, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking out the time for helping us and all the other students in their journey through engineering. And I would like to ask you like a very basic question in the starting. When you were in the starting years of your engineering, for example, first or second year, what kind of skills did you learn and how did they benefit you in particular?
First of all, hello everyone, and thanks for calling me. So it will be a good experience. And in the first talking about the first year, actually I started with competitive coding. From the initial time, I had a basic knowledge of Java and C from
Okay.
the school knowledge. So then in the first year I started with the competitive coding in C. Then slowly I progressed into the web development and it is said that in the first year we should explore different fields.
Mhm.
So as I did, first I started with the web development, then the mobile development, and I found my interest in the web development, so I continued with that in the second year itself.
Okay, okay.
And
So, yeah, please. Yeah, please continue.
yeah, so particularly the skills I acquired was in the first year I made the complete focus on the competitive coding part to make a stronger, to make a DSLGO part a bit stronger.
Mhm.
Then I continued learning HTML, CS, JavaScript, and in the second year I focused on learning some particular tech stack like Angular at the front end and Node.js at the back end.
Mhm.
That was about the first and the second year.
Okay, so like you learned most development and DSL itself, right? Okay, so like what kind of projects did you make? For example, the basic projects or the advanced projects that you have made for a resume?
Uh, Yeah, initially in the first year, I made some of the basic projects only in JavaScript,
Mhm.
but in the second year, actually, I took up the pace and I started working on a Chrome extension, namely Productifier. So, what the main work was Productifier. This name suggests it was to increase the productivity in the web. By it helps to assist the user which website is good and bad, or the user can even block a website or allow a website based on his requirement, save articles, search the dictionary meanings, search the stack overflow, and search, and many more features are available in it. Then later on also I worked on a Java personal assistant project. Uh,
Mhm.
we have many personal assistants as of now, like Cortana or Siri, but then
Mhm.
what Jarvis personal assistant, the main use was for it was a Linux based uh, personal assistant.
Okay.
uh, for now we don't have any UI based personal assistant for Linux based systems, so we tried to cover up that problem for everyone.
Okay. Well, that's like a pretty good resume, pretty good portfolio. Projects are like really high level projects. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that project actually helped me during my interviews also and making up a good resume.
the virtual assistant project.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
The virtual assistant project, personal assistant project really
Yeah,
helped you.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So, like, what was the tech stack for these projects, like the Chrome extension and the personal project, like the personal
The
assistant?
Chrome extension, it was completely JavaScript and HTML.
Okay,
For the Jarvis, it was Golang at the back end and Angular at the front end.
okay, okay. It was made for Linux, right? Okay. So, like, Muskan, what was your like first internships? What was the duration and what were your responsibilities?
Now, I had my internship during the end of second year. It was in a Bhubaneswar-based startup which aimed at online food delivery, named Bring My Food. bringmyfood.com. It is a competitive and succeeding against Swiggy and Zomato.
Okay. Okay.
So it was 2 months long, and I was responsible for making the mobile app using the React Native.
Okay. So when did you like start this internship? In the second year or third year?
It was by the end of the second year.
At the end of the second year. Okay. And like, what were your responsibilities?
I was responsible for making the React Native mobile app for the transition, and also I was also handled with some of the Angular works there.
Okay. Okay. So Muskan, like, what will be your advice to the audience? Like, how to land internships, how to make projects to land internships in MNC companies?
In order to get into MNCs, I will surely initially have a good grasp on DSLGO, because the interview rounds are basically based on DSLGO only, and also having a basic fundamentals of like OOPS concepts, database, OS. During the interview process, they don't only focus on DSLGO questions; they also focus on basic knowledge on every field. Then having a personal project plays the major role over there, not only in making a resume, but also having a good experience where you can explain the projects well, and the interviewer can have also good perspective on you, like on your explanations.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think that most of the interviewer don't ask questions like out of anywhere. They just ask the questions out of your resume, what you have written on your resume, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
some of them are based on our resume.
Okay. Okay. So, like, what would be your advice about learning DS and Algo? Is there any kind of roadmap or any kind of way that the students should approach it? What kind of platforms they should practice on?
To make projects.
No, for learning DS and Algo, for getting their hands comfortable on structures and algorithms.
Actually, like I would say that excelling in DSLGO isn't a single day process. So being excellent at something requires complete patience and consistency.
Definitely.
There are various platforms like HackerRank, LeetCode, Coursera. Anyone can practice and learn concepts over there. Even it provides a good variety of interview questions and experience, and that are really very helpful. So if anyone is consistent over any of the platforms and are practicing well, they can easily have a good grasp on DSLGO.
Definitely, definitely. So, Muskan, I would like to know a bit more about the interview experience you had at Microsoft. Like, how many rounds were there, and what were the difficulty of the questions that were asked?
Like I applied for off-campus Microsoft University from the Microsoft University portal for the internship. So I had 4 rounds for selection. The first round was a competitive coding round, and was 11,000 plus students appeared for that exam. It consists of 3 medium level competitive coding courses, and we were allotted 90 minutes. I passed first programming round with relative ease, though been a good learning experience. At the next round video was a video calling round and was scheduled after the results were out. That was an hour-long interview where I was asked to explain out my. Then she provided me with 2 competitive coding questions after the another, and which I had to type in a notepad in screen sharing mode.
Okay.
Then the selected students were called to the Hyderabad office for the remaining interviews. There again we had 2 set of interviews. First was the technical interview. It was also an hour-long interview where I was basically asked the questions based on my resume. There were again 2 competitive coding questions which I had to write on pen and paper, and I have to solve and show them.
Okay.
Then I would really advise for that, like while solving a competitive coding question in front of an interviewer, one should use the brute force method and talk to the interviewer, like what is in which process he or she is doing and why the process been applicable. It's not necessary that for the first time main idea will click and one will write the code. So like we can discuss with the interviewer, like I'm thinking of this approach, and then you can write the code. So interviewer will also have a clear idea on what you are thinking.
Kind of.
Then
Continue.
Then after to complete, one question was like on hash map and another question was on strings. after that, too, she asked some of the questions based on my resume. Like I mentioned earlier, the Jarvis personal assistant. She asked many questions over that, and then there was some basic question on the database and operating systems. After that round, we were called for the HR round. That was the basic HR round of what our personal interest, how will we, we have been given some real life problems and how will we tackle it during the internship and all.
Okay. Okay. So, like, in which month did you apply for the internship?
Can you please repeat the question?
In which month did you apply for the internship? So, like, when do the applications open?
It was nearly about, I think, August, September.
August, September, and you joined in which month?
I started this year, May.
Okay, so it like took 9 to 10 months for the complete process.
No, actually, it was like August or September. The form opened for the summer internship at 2020. So after I applied it, I got results. The final interview on campus interview was on December 21st. On the similar day after I gave the interview, at the evening we got the results that we have been selected.
Okay.
As that time we had the college going on, so it was obvious that we will get the internship during the summer. So it was confirmed, but the internship started in summer.
That's great. And like you just mentioned that your projects on the resume were mostly the personal assistant project and the promise extension project, right?
Can you please repeat? Actually, the voice isn't clear.
Yeah, actually, I was just asking one more question. Like, how do the students should draft their resume? I've heard many times that resume should be only one page and not more than that. So, what kind of skills or skill set should be mentioned on that one page resume?
If I'm talking about mainly the area varies for different students. Like, some are interested for web development, some mobile development, some MS, AI. So based on that, at least they should know some of the concepts of their particular language. Like for MLAI, they should have a strong hold on Python. For web development, they should know at least a front-end framework and have a good hold on a back-end language. So that.
Okay. Okay. So, like Muskan, I've seen in your profile that you are also associated with Google Summer of Code this year in Mayforce initiative.
Yeah.
So, like, you are associated with them like as a student developer or a mentor?
I'm a student developer.
That's great. Congratulations, first of all. And
Thank you.
I would like to really know about it. Like, how did you prepare for that, and when did you start the preparation for Summer of Code this year?
For Google Summer of Code, I actually started started making contributions to the organization a bit earlier, like from the month of August or September only I started contributing.
Okay.
And I was a bit I liked that project. So I thought of applying it further, and also they had a very good initiative of the main aim of the organization is to provide online banking system to the rural area in all the countries. So I was quite fascinated, like the aim of the organization. So I contributing on that, and later on I applied for GSOC and I was selected.
Okay. And like, did you have to learn some new skills, or did your current skills really help you in that initiative?
The current skills actually helped me. Actually, I was searching the projects, my current skills, and I landed over that project. So, not only that, my current skills helped me. I got to learn much more deeper in that skill even. Like, it is a project completely based on Angular 7. So before that, I had some small projects on Angular 7, but that is a huge project which I am working on. So I came to learn more about Angular and have a good hands-on on JavaScript and TypeScript after that.
Okay. And so, like, Muskan, there's kind of a confusion among students, like how to approach the issues in starting. For example, when you were contributing in the starting, so how did you solve them? Like, you solved some issues. After that, you applied for the project and wrote your proposal. What was the process actually?
Initially, I tried to have a hold over on the code. like to understand what is the actually part of the code, how is the code, like for the Angular code we need to go through the router first, then go to the component. So I followed that what is the what is the project doing and how is it doing. After I got to know understand many of the components, I found the issue and the issue in Angular we have many components. Just a minute.
Yes.
Actually, there were many open issues. Also, after we run the particular application, we can find any bug and also raise any issue. It is not an hard and fast rule like to work on the present issue itself. So if anyone is not feeling comfortable with the present issues, he can find any more bugs or any more features and open it up and discuss with the mentors if it is eligible to work.
Okay.
If it's required for the organization, and if it's once approved, we can work on that and we can raise the request for the same. And the main other thing is to keep a contact with the mentors. Like when we are new to the organization, the mentors are the one who can guide us on which issue to work and what is the main requirement of the organization at that time, what is in the priority level. So that helps a lot to know more about organization.
Okay. And like about your project, when you were writing a proposal, what did you mention in your proposal exactly? Like how would you solve the project?
In the project, actually, we have many components. It is a microfinance organization. There are various components. So till now, some of the components features haven't been implemented. I aimed at implementing those features as well as implementing the end-to-end testing for the complete application.
Okay. So, like Muskan, I just remembered that I missed one question apart from the DSLGO part. So I've seen that most of the students who are actually even selected as interns or full-time opportunities in mostly FAANG companies, they don't even have like very good starts on online competitive coding platforms. But still they are selected. And I've seen most of the students who have like 4 or 5 stars on competitive coding platforms like CodeChef or Codeforces. They still don't get any internships in MNCs. So like, is competitive coding really important, or students should have a grasp on DSN itself only?
DSN Algo is from DSN Algo we learn the different data structures and algorithm, but in competitive coding we actually apply it.
Yeah, definitely. That was what I was thinking. Like having the practice to think in pressure and giving the best solutions is really important, and it comes from competitive coding itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So Stan, like it was really great to have you on the show. And I would just like to conclude you by asking you simple advice for the students. Like, what is the crux of 4 years of engineering? How should they approach engineering? And how should they make the right choices in internships or maybe server of course, etc.?
First thing is from the first year, everyone should a bit concentrated on keeping the DSL part a bit stronger. At the same time, they should focus on creating projects. As creating projects not only help us in making the resume, but also help us dig more into a concept, gain more experience, and know the actual. Know more about a particular language. Till when we will look the particular YouTube videos or like any of the courses, we don't gain as much as experience as when we do a particular project. I have seen many students going behind only like courses and certificates. But the main thing, if I always said this one thing on mine, like suppose one student gain a certificate, he will surely write it over the resume. But some of the students, what they do, they don't attend the courses and they only add it at the resume. While a recruiter sees it in a resume, it is obvious for the recruiter to ask the questions over that certificate, that what did you learn over that certificate and all. At that time, the students couldn't answer because they haven't attended it at all. They have just done it for the sake of the certificate.
Yeah.
So, but if you have done a personal project, it's your own experience. You can explain it till the end, each and every detail bit of that project. So that is the major thing anyone should do during the 4 years. And making some good projects actually help a lot.
So like focusing on skills apart from certificates and everything, right? Certificates don't matter that much.
Yeah, for the current scenario, I have seen many of the certification doesn't matter anymore. Something matters is projects.
And do you think like the college matters? Like if a college is second tier, third tier, does it matter for landing internships and MNCs?
Can you please repeat?
Like, does the tier of a college depend for landing internships in MNCs? Like, for like it's an IIT and somewhere it's like third tier college. It's not as famous as IIT. So does it matter to land what kind of college you're studying in to land an internship?
Yeah, it matters in a case like I had to apply off campus. Being from a third tier college, I had to apply from off campus. But a student from the IITs or NITs, they will get it on campus. That is the only difference. Rest all are like all will based on my experience, all the students are treated equally by the organization or by the company. That doesn't make any difference. Like you are from IIT, then you will get higher selection, or you are from a third tier college, then we will select you. That's not anymore in the country.
Okay, okay. Well, that's great. So, like Muskan, we are really thankful for you for being on the show, taking out the time, and really helping the students. I really hope that all the students will learn a lot from your side, and will providing like your LinkedIn profile link in the description box, so students can reach out to you and take some help if they need. Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
And guys, just like from the last few weeks, we are having some surprises for you guys. In the first week, we had 90% off on Coding Blocks courses. In the next week, we had internship opportunities for students who had the required skills. And this week, well, we have something really special. We have kind of a special tournament for you guys, where you just have to register, and one lucky winner will be chosen at the end of this week, and that lucky winner will get the chance to have their own online portfolio personalized for them, whether it is for their business, whether it is for their own personal portfolio, whether you're a student or a working professional. A professional web designer will be creating your online portfolio personalized for you as per your needs, and will be providing a free domain name as well. Right, we'll providing a free domain name as well. For example, my name is Rajat Upadhyay, so I have a domain name called rajatupadhyay.codes. So we'll be providing this kind of free domain for you as well, whoever is the lucky winner. So I'll provide the link in the description box. You can just go out there and register, and really I really hope that there will be a lot of registrations, and the lucky winner will be chosen from that only. So yeah, see you guys there. Bye.